Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hello Word, the podcast where we explore the fascinating world of English vocabulary. I'm your host, Alex, and I'm thrilled to have you join me today. Our word of the day is bench. Bench is a C1 level noun, meaning a long seat for several people. It's a very common word, and you've likely encountered it many times. Think of a park, a garden, or even a waiting area. A bench is often there. So, to define it clearly, a bench is essentially a long seat, typically made of wood or metal, designed to accommodate multiple people sitting side by side. Now let's delve a bit deeper and explore some synonyms for bench. One synonym is seat. For example, instead of saying let's sit on the bench, you could say let's find a seat. Another synonym is settle. While settle can mean other things, in some contexts it can refer to a long seat similar to a bench. Think of a church pew, for example. However, settle often implies a more permanent or fixed seat. A related term is couch. A couch can function as a bench, offering seating for multiple people. Here's a sentence using couch. The family gathered on the couch to watch a movie. A less common, but still relevant synonym is form. In some older contexts, form can refer to a long, backless bench. For example, the students sat on the form in the old schoolhouse. One more synonym we could consider is ledge. A ledge is a narrow shelf projecting from a wall. In some cases, a wide ledge can be used as a bench for sitting. Here's an example: we sat on the stone ledge overlooking the valley. Now let's switch gears and consider antonyms for bench. This is a bit trickier because bench primarily defines a type of seating. However, we can consider terms that represent seating for only one person. So, an antonym could be chair. A chair is designed for individual seating, contrasting with the multiple occupancy of a bench. For example, he preferred to sit in the chair rather than on the bench. Another antonym could be stool. A stool is typically a backless and armless seat for one person. Think of a bar stool, for example. She perched on the stool at the counter. Another contrast could be with throne. While a throne is also a seat, it is usually for one specific person and carries the weight of a high status. The queen sat on her throne during the ceremony. You could also consider armchair. The difference between a bench and an armchair is the number of people that it can sit and the support in your arms. For instance, the old man was sitting on the armchair to rest. How can you use bench in your everyday life? Well, it's a surprisingly versatile word. You might say, I'm going to sit on the bench and read my book, or let's meet at the bench by the fountain. You could also use it in expressions like he's warming the bench, which means he's not actively participating in something like a sports game. A common phrase is park bench, used to describe a meeting place or a resting spot in an open space. Now, let's look at some more usage examples in sentences. The old couple sat quietly on the bench, holding hands. The children were playing around the bench in the park. The carpenter crafted a beautiful wooden bench for the garden. The bench was painted bright yellow. We need to find a bench to rest our weary feet. In summary, the word bench is a C1 level noun that signifies a long seat for multiple people. We've explored synonyms like seat, settle, couch, form, and ledge, and antonyms like chair, stool, throne, and armchair, and discussed its diverse usage in everyday language and common expressions. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Hello Word. I hope you found it informative and helpful in expanding your English vocabulary. Now, before we wrap up, I have a small request. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review. Your support helps others discover the show, and it means the world to me. I would also love to read a sentence created by you using the word bench. Please share a sentence in the comment box.